The Queen has culled the guest list for one of the key moments of her Platinum Jubilee celebrations. Only working members of the royal family are permitted to join her on the balcony at Buckingham Palace, meaning the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and Prince Andrew have been snubbed.
Viewers were shocked to see that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were relegated to the second row during the Queen's funeral.
People were stunned when Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were placed in the second row during the Queen's funeral. It wasn't just about seating, it sent a message. Witnesses say Meghan was even asked to step aside at one point because attendees claimed her presence brought negative energy. That wasn't gossip or online chatter. People in the room actually felt it. The entire mood reportedly shifted the second she arrived. Conversations slowed, tension filled the air, and no one could quite explain why. This wasn't about media headlines or politics, it was about pure atmosphere. And that wasn't the only time this kind of moment happened. During their royal tour in Morocco, a red carpet was rolled out for Prince Harry to inspect the Guard of Honor. A formal, tightly planned ceremony meant for him alone. But when Meghan stepped forward, things took an awkward turn. She seemed ready to join in, expecting to share the spotlight. But royal protocol had other plans. A staff member swiftly intervened, quietly guiding her aside.
The Queen has culled the guest list for one of the key moments of her Platinum Jubilee celebrations. Only working members of the royal family are permitted to join her on the balcony at Buckingham Palace, meaning the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and Prince Andrew.
And the message was crystal clear. This was not her moment. It said Meghan looked caught off guard, exchanging a few tense words with the aide, clearly hoping the situation would change, but it didn't. The event went on without her in the spotlight, and that small, silent moment spoke volumes about how tightly the royal structure guards tradition and how it doesn't bend for anyone, not even her. She had no choice but to move along the side of the carpet, keeping her composure even as frustration showed on her face. The moment slipped through her fingers, and that flash of disappointment said it all. Some later speculated that she was told the red carpet was for royals only, or that she was advised to step back since the moment belonged solely to Prince Harry. But no one confirmed anything on record. Still, the message couldn't have been clearer. The spotlight was his, not theirs. Observers noted the tension right away. It wasn't about rivalry, it was about boundaries. That moment reminded everyone that sometimes Harry shines best when Meghan isn't fighting for space beside him. Then came another awkward situation, this time at one of Harry's polo matches in Florida. After his team won, Meghan was seen reaching toward a teammate's trophy box as cameras went off. The player gently pulled it back, and Meghan awkwardly ducked under raised arms just to stay in the frame. It looked more like a scramble for the spotlight than a celebration. Even during someone else's victory, she couldn't resist staying center stage. It was like instinct. And that pattern didn't stop there. At Prince Charles's 70th birthday garden party, shortly after her wedding, things went off track again. The event was meant to be formal, calm, and full of gratitude. Yet according to insiders, Meghan seemed distant, uneasy, and completely detached from the moment. Guests noticed. It was supposed to be a tribute to Charles's decades of service, but her lack of interest cast a shadow over the atmosphere. Camilla reportedly overheard Meghan saying she wanted to go back home, and not in a whisper either. Word quickly reached Charles, and that was it. He quietly decided to protect the event's tone. Within minutes, staff politely approached the couple. Harry was told their car was waiting outside and that it was time to leave. There were no raised voices, no argument, just a quiet, graceful exit that spoke louder than words. In the end, what should have been a warm family evening ended abruptly. The laughter faded, the mood shifted, and the royal hosts were left wondering how such a simple gathering had turned so tense so fast. When Harry and Meghan stepped away from royal duties, it looked like liberation, a chance to live freely without palace rules or rigid schedules. But that freedom came with a heavy cost. The titles stayed, but the privileges vanished. No more royal protection, no more automatic access, and no more special treatment. That's when the reality of stepping back truly hit. Freedom wasn't free. Their departure had consequences, and one of the clearest signs came when they were asked to vacate Frogmore Cottage. This wasn't symbolic or a quiet suggestion. It was a firm message: pack your things and go. It marked a cold turning point in their royal chapter. The emotional distance between them and the family became physical too. The walls of tradition closed in, and the signal was unmistakable. You're no longer part of this inner circle. Things got even more obvious when Meghan was banned from joining future appearances on the Buckingham Palace balcony. People might call that symbolic, but inside royal culture, it's much more than that. The balcony isn't just a photo op. It's the visual heart of the monarchy. It shows who truly matters within the royal system. By removing Meghan completely, the palace made a deliberate public statement. There was no maybe next time. It was final. Overnight, she went from standing beside senior royals to being totally cut out. For someone whose influence was built on visibility, that silence spoke volumes. Then came the Platinum Jubilee, a celebration of Queen Elizabeth II's 70 years of service. It was supposed to be about unity, loyalty, and legacy, but Meghan and Harry's placement made the truth painfully clear. There was no front row seat, no balcony moment, no hint of senior status. Instead, they were quietly seated away from William and Catherine, their physical distance echoing the emotional gap that had grown between them. The palace didn't need to make an announcement. The seating chart itself delivered the message. Hierarchy stands firm and titles don't buy privilege. For a couple that built their public identity around connection and visibility, this was a brutal wake-up call. Meghan reportedly expected recognition and a warm reception. What she got instead was polite distance and a silent reminder that tradition always wins. And it all came full circle at Queen Elizabeth II's funeral, a moment meant to unite the family in grief. Yet even there, Meghan found herself pushed to the edges. She was seated far from senior royals, positioned behind tall candles that literally blocked her from view. The symbolism was impossible to miss. This wasn't just about seating, it was about message and meaning. For all their attempts to step into independence, every public appearance since leaving the firm has carried one quiet theme. The royal family has moved on, and Meghan is no longer part of the core picture. This wasn't about lack of space or last-minute logistics. It was calculated. Every inch of a royal funeral is planned to perfection. Nothing happens by coincidence. Every seat, step, and camera angle carries meaning. So even though Meghan wasn't physically removed from the ceremony, her placement said everything. She was positioned carefully, far enough that she couldn't disrupt the order or dominate the frame. In royal language, that's the quiet version of being escorted out. No confrontation, no drama, just a silent statement. You're present, but you're not part of this anymore. And that quiet distancing didn't end there. Shortly after, Harry and Meghan were excluded from a major state event hosted by King Charles III, one that welcomed world leaders and key dignitaries. This wasn't an oversight or scheduling mix-up. It was deliberate. They were told, in clear terms, that such events were for working royals only, not part-timers, not guests, certainly not those who had stepped away. The message couldn't have been more blunt. If you leave the job, you lose the stage. Then there was the wedding moment that fans still talk about. During the royal wedding, cameras caught a small but striking moment that shifted public perception fast. As Meghan stepped out of the car, a staff member reached out to help with her veil and gown. Instead of a warm smile, she brushed the hand away, her expression tight, her focus fixed ahead. It was a brief instant, but it stuck. The gesture came off as impatient, even dismissive, painting a picture of a bride more focused on her image than on the kindness around her. That single clip replayed everywhere, again and again, marking one of the earliest cracks in her public image. People began to see her not as the warm, approachable duchess they'd expected, but as someone carrying Hollywood attitude into royal life. The moment sparked talk that she struggled to adapt, that she still acted like a celebrity in a world that demanded quiet grace and discipline. From then on, the media narrative shifted dramatically, and that one glance became a defining part of how the public saw her. Fast forward to March 2019, and tensions reached a whole new level. Buckingham Palace hosted a prestigious event marking 50 years since Charles became Prince of Wales, a milestone packed with tradition, senior royals, and formality at its peak. Every guest knew their place. Only the most senior royals and their spouses were allowed into a private viewing of historic investiture items. The rule was clear. No one else was to enter. But when Queen Elizabeth II arrived, Harry and Meghan were already positioned near the entrance of that private room, well ahead of the allowed guests. It might sound minor, but in royal protocol, it was a major misstep. Every action in that setting is loaded with meaning. By moving ahead, they broke a long-standing line of order. Charles reportedly had to step in personally, reminding everyone, senior royals only. But even then, they lingered, staying where they shouldn't have been. In a palace built on precision and hierarchy, that kind of breach doesn't fade quietly. It's remembered, and it adds to a growing list of moments where the Sussexes seemed unwilling to play by royal rules. Each misstep, each silent correction, carved the divide deeper, making it crystal clear. The distance between them and the crown wasn't just emotional anymore. It was official, visible, and irreversible. That's when palace aides quietly stepped in, followed by security. The scene was handled smoothly, but firmly. Harry and Meghan were gently guided away from the Queen and escorted out of the private room altogether. In a place where protocol is everything, it never should have reached that point, but it did, and people inside the palace didn't forget it. Then came another awkward story, one that didn't unfold in the palace at all, but in one of New York's elite dining spots. A respected maitre d', Michael Chazzolina, who worked in several Michelin-starred restaurants, shared the moment in his memoir, Your Table is Ready. According to him, this happened at Le Cuckoo in 2017, and it was unforgettable. Meghan's handler reportedly demanded a private table, insisting it was necessary because she was dating a prince. Not requested, demanded. Michael calmly explained that the restaurant was fully booked, no exceptions. But the handler doubled down, name-dropping Prince Harry again, and even adding that Meghan would soon be a duchess. The expectation was clear. Status should bend the rules. But here's the twist. No one cared. The staff didn't flinch, the guests didn't look up, and Michael said he found the demand more awkward than impressive. Power and fame didn't move anyone in that room. Throughout the tense exchange, Meghan stayed silent, watching it play out with a distant, detached expression. He later described her as aloof, present but emotionally checked out. The vibe turned icy fast. Instead of commanding admiration, the moment drew uncomfortable stares. The attempt to pull rank had completely backfired, leaving behind nothing but a hush of embarrassment. Then there was Meghan's reaction to Kate during the Queen's Platinum Jubilee service at St. Paul's Cathedral. Every camera was trained on them. Everyone waited to see if there'd be a warm greeting or even a polite nod. But when Kate and William entered, Meghan didn't smile. She looked away. Her face stayed cool, distant, unreadable. That subtle move set the internet ablaze. Viewers saw it as a deliberate snub, proof that the tension between the two women was still unresolved. This wasn't new. Their rumored friction reportedly dated back to before Harry and Meghan's wedding. But this moment in front of the world made it undeniable. The service was supposed to celebrate the Queen's 70-year reign, yet Meghan's chilly reaction stole attention from the ceremony and pulled the spotlight straight back to royal drama. Critics claimed it showed her unwillingness to play by royal expectations, deepening the divide even further. And then came the charity polo match that had people talking for months. Prince Harry's team had just won, and Meghan stepped up to present the trophy. A feel-good public moment that should have celebrated teamwork and philanthropy. But things turned awkward when Meghan appeared to redirect the spotlight yet again. As the team lined up for photos, the charity chair, Dr. Sophie Sika, stood beside Harry. Meghan seemed uneasy, gesturing for Sophie to step aside. Cameras caught every second of it. To onlookers, it came across as a power move, an unspoken message about who belonged next to the prince. That single moment overshadowed the charity's purpose and painted Meghan as someone who valued control over decorum. What should have been remembered as a generous, high-spirited event ended up fueling more debate about her public image. The pattern was clear. Whether at palaces, restaurants, or public ceremonies, Meghan's actions kept commanding attention. And not always in the way she hoped. By pushing Dr. Sophie Chinaka aside, Meghan didn't just interrupt a harmless photo moment, she undercut the spirit of the entire charity event. Viewers said it looked less like a misunderstanding and more like a calculated move to secure her place beside Harry. What made it sting was that Dr. Chinaka wasn't just any guest. She was the charity chair, the person whose hard work made the event possible. So when Meghan stepped forward, gestured, and subtly shifted Sophie out of frame, people couldn't help but notice. Some fans tried to defend it, saying she probably just wanted a better photo, but others saw something deeper. A flash of entitlement, the need to control every image, every angle, every narrative. In royal circles, small gestures have big meaning. And that move highlighted a growing gap between Meghan's polished public image and how she actually behaved in formal settings. The grace, the humility, the composure expected of royalty, they all seemed missing in that moment. From that point on, whispers grew louder. People wondered if she ever truly adapted to royal life, or if she was just playing a role she didn't believe in. Those who once saw her as a refreshing modern face began to view her as someone clashing with centuries-old tradition. Every photo, every clip, every facial expression was suddenly analyzed, not for glamour, but for attitude. Then came one of the most awkward episodes of all. What palace insiders later called the palace-ordered removal. Meghan was supposed to appear at London's Dorfman Theatre in her official role as patron of the National Theatre, a position Queen Elizabeth II herself had given her. It was meant to be a professional visit celebrating the arts, but the tone shifted fast. According to several accounts, the Queen had asked to speak with Meghan beforehand, a simple, respectful request. But Meghan allegedly ignored it and pressed on with her plans. By the time she arrived, the Queen had already canceled the appearance. Meghan expected a warm reception, photographers, and a crowd. Instead, she was met with confusion. Officials told her that the meeting was off, there would be no event to attend. And that's when security discreetly stepped in, guiding her back to her car and advising her to return to Buckingham Palace. The move was polite, but firm. The kind of royal correction that says everything without a single harsh word. For Meghan, it was a public reminder that even as a duchess, she was not in charge. Cameras caught her leaving, visibly composed yet distant. But one detail stood out. Her wedding ring was missing. That tiny absence sent tabloids spinning. Was it just a coincidence? A last-minute styling choice? Or a message? Some claimed it was deliberate, a quiet signal aimed at Harry or the palace itself. Others dismissed it entirely. But in royal life, optics matter more than words. When the Queen calls, you answer. No excuses. Ignoring that kind of request isn't just poor timing. It's a breach of respect. For someone who often spoke about female empowerment and breaking barriers, this moment painted the opposite image. Not leadership, but defiance in the wrong setting. Meghan reportedly learned the hard way that in the royal hierarchy, there's one rule that never bends. No one outranks the Queen, ever. But the pattern didn't stop there. Soon after came the now infamous Fiji market tour, another event that seemed fine on paper but spiraled into controversy within seconds. Footage showed Meghan in a vibrant pink dress moving through the market with cameras flashing and fans cheering. She smiled, waved, and looked confident until something changed. Suddenly, her expression shifted. The warmth disappeared, replaced by a look of visible irritation. The smile froze, the eyes hardened, and she turned sharply away from the crowd. The whole moment lasted less than 2 seconds, but it was caught on camera, and the clip exploded online. Critics said it revealed the real Meghan, someone who only performed warmth for the cameras. Supporters pushed back, arguing the market was overcrowded and that security concerns had triggered her reaction. But that didn't stop people from replaying it again and again. Even the smallest grimace became evidence for those convinced that behind the charm was frustration, not grace. Some reports claimed a local staffer felt embarrassed by her abrupt change in demeanor, though the palace never confirmed it. Still, the story spread faster than any official statement could stop it. That single second became a symbol of everything critics accused her of: aloofness, impatience, and an inability to handle pressure without showing it on her face. And just when that died down, another viral clip reignited the same debate, this time from the Sussexes' trip to Nigeria. During a visit to a local school, Meghan was filmed interacting with teachers and students. On paper, it was the kind of feel-good, cross-cultural event that could have rebuilt her public image. But one short clip flipped the script entirely. The footage showed Meghan turning away while a teacher was still speaking to her. In the video, she appears to mouth, "Don't talk to me," before shifting focus elsewhere. The internet erupted. Viewers accused her of being rude, dismissive, and disinterested in the people she was supposed to be engaging with. To make matters worse, royal biographer Angela Levin weighed in, calling Meghan's demeanor cold and phony. Others described it as unnecessary attitude, but fans came to her defense, saying the video was cropped unfairly, that it missed context, that the reaction was overblown. Still, perception is everything, and perception was not in her favor. Even neutral observers admitted the clip didn't look good. Meghan's body language seemed disconnected. Arms crossed, head tilted slightly upward, the kind of posture that reads as superiority in public life. And when body language experts weighed in on TV panels, the headlines wrote themselves, "Cold Shoulder in Nigeria." The controversy reignited every old argument about Meghan's attitude toward royal duties foreign visits, and cultural interactions. Was she misunderstood or just unfiltered? Either way, the debate was alive again, and the internet devoured every second of it. Then came the coronation of King Charles III, the moment that truly sealed Meghan's place outside the royal system. The world expected to see the Sussexes return to London together, standing as a united front. But when the big day arrived, Meghan was nowhere to be seen. No elegant entrance, no wave to the cameras, not even a seat in the crowd. Sources later revealed that she was strongly advised not to attend. The reasoning was simple. Coronations are for working royals, and Meghan no longer held that position. Her absence wasn't accidental. It was official. A ceremony built entirely on hierarchy doesn't make room for those who stepped away. And in that silence, the message was deafening. This was the coronation of her father-in-law, one of the most historic royal moments of the century, and she wasn't there. Tradition alone would suggest she should have been by Harry's side, yet she stayed home. Some reports claimed it was her choice, others hinted it wasn't. But either way, the outcome was the same. A royal event watched by millions, and Meghan completely missing from the picture. For a woman who built her influence on visibility, that absence spoke louder than any speech ever could. It marked a full-circle moment, from center stage at her royal wedding to total exclusion from the crown's biggest event in decades. The glamour, the headlines, the attention, gone. Instead, Meghan's name trended for a different reason. People weren't talking about what she wore or who she greeted. They were talking about the fact she wasn't there at all. That's when commentators said what many had already concluded privately. Marriage might have granted her a title, but it couldn't secure her a permanent seat in royal life. Each of these moments, from the National Theatre mix-up to the Fiji grimace, the Nigeria clip, and finally the coronation absence, told the same story in different ways. She wasn't being pushed out in one dramatic scene. She was being gradually, silently moved aside. No confrontation, no public announcement, just smaller roles, fewer appearances, and invitations that quietly stopped arriving. Even insiders have said it's almost like a professional breakup. Not with anger, but with distance. The institution doesn't lash out. It just fades people out. And that's what's been happening all along. Every time Meghan stepped forward, the palace seemed to step back, creating a gap that only grew wider over time. Now, with years of hindsight, that pattern looks impossible to ignore. What began as a story of romance and renewal, a prince marrying a modern, outspoken woman, has turned into something much heavier, a long, drawn-out separation between two worlds that never truly fit together. Meghan's supporters insist she brought freshness, empathy, and change, but her critics argue she brought disruption and ego. Maybe the truth lies somewhere in between. But one thing is certain, few royal figures in modern history have sparked as much fascination, controversy, and division as Meghan Markle. And even today, whether she's making a public appearance, filming a project, or staying out of sight, every move still makes headlines. Love her or not, Meghan remains one of the most talked about women on the planet. A figure who turned the monarchy's carefully managed script upside down. From Hollywood lights to palace gates, her journey has been anything but quiet. It's a story of ambition colliding with centuries-old tradition, of a woman who wanted freedom and found out that freedom comes with its own price tag. So what do you think? Was Meghan unfairly treated by an outdated system, or did she simply overstep too many times? Which of these royal moments do you think changed everything? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, share your take, and let's see where you stand. And before you go, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next royal breakdown. More stories, more drama, and more truth are on the way. See you in the next one.